Hey guys, good morning. It's Chris Underwood here, Mr. Underwood. Just wanted to go over how to do your fantasy football scoring real quick. So you should already have your score sheet in your hand. Make sure you have the proper number, week one or week two. Right now we're doing week one, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You'll start at my website and click right here where it says fantasy football. When you do that, if you need to do the print my team, you can print another team. But now we need to go find the website. So you can go to ESPN.com here. I have a link, a shortcut. When you do that, it's going to go straight to the site. If by chance you're not on my website, this is how you would navigate it. You would go to ESPN.com. You would click on fantasy, which is here. Drop down to football, and then scoring leaders right here. So I have that shortcut. All right, so here we go. We are going to, if we look here, we are going to do Aaron Rodgers. I have Mr. Mangum, so we're going to do that. All right, week one here. So I'm probably going to do just one player in each one of the different categories. So Aaron Rodgers, quarterback. Here's how you do it. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to choose week one because that's the week that we're in. Whatever week you are, make sure you choose that appropriate week. I'm going to type in Rodgers, and I'm going to click go. Now, there's other ways to do it. This is just the way that I think is the most efficient. So Aaron Rodgers, week one, these are all of his stats. So we go back here. I need to know his total touchdowns. To get Aaron Rodgers' total touchdowns, I look at the passing touchdown category, 1, the rushing touchdown category, 0, and the receiving, 0. So I add those up. 1 plus 2 zeros will give me 1. So I'm going to write 1 on the top of my diagonal line. I put a diagonal line in most of the columns. So there's a 1, and it tells me right here that I get 6 points. So for every touchdown, I get 6. So Aaron Rodgers earned me 6 points. I'm now going to look at his passing yards and his rushing yards. So passing yards. I'm looking here at passing yards. His passing yards is 311. I'm going to write that number on top, 311. I'm having to write with my mouse, so it's not that great. I'm now going to do what it tells me here. It says divide by 25. How many times does 25 go into 311? How many whole times? So 25 goes into 104 times, 208 times, 312 times. And I got that extra 11 yards. I just ignore that. So I'm going to write 12 down here. Okay. And now I have my rushing yards. I'm going to take my rushing yards and I'm going to divide by 10. So rushing yards, 21. I'm not looking at my rushing attempts, how many times he ran the ball. I'm looking to see how many yards he gained. So that is 21. I divide that by 10, and I get 2. Now, sometimes people have negative yards. So to earn 1 fantasy football point, you have to have 10 positive yards. To lose a fantasy football point, you have to have at least negative 10 yards. So basically, if you're in between 9 and its opposite, which is negative 9, that would round down to 0 fantasy football points. So if this number was not 21, and let's say it was negative 11, I divide that by 10, that would have been negative 1 point. So I could put a negative in front of that. All right, these are grayed out, which means I'm not going to be using these columns. I'm now looking at interceptions and fumbles. For every interception, you lose 4 points, and for every fumble, you lose 3 points. So interceptions, INTs right here. I got 1 interception, INT, and FUML, fumble, no fumbles. So I'll put a 1 on top of the interception. That's negative 4. And I have 0 fumbles for negative 3. Let's say you would have had 2 interceptions that have been negative 8 points. So now I take my numbers at the bottom, 6, 12, 2, negative 4. Oh, sorry, that should be 0. Add those together. 6 and 12 is 18. 18 and 2 is 20. And 20 take away 4 is 16. So I'm sitting right now at 16 points Aaron Rodgers earned for my team. I'll do the same thing with my next quarterback.